Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Aliens and UFOs of the Week video. Thought I would mix one of these in while I'm continuing with my Cryptids and Monsters series, mainly because several of you out there have been asking me both on messages and on comments when I'm doing my next series of Aliens UFOs videos. They might actually be next, it just depends on what the next cycle of videos are. I'll have to double check what's next on my YouTube site, but if they are next, I'll definitely let everyone know soon. This particular entry of the week has to do with a very fascinating case, in that basically it's information coming from a son of a father who experienced, in his case, footage. Like, he actually filmed footage of some deceased aliens within an airport hangar. So very interesting stuff when I was reading this information, because it has to do with about the closest encounter you can have, in this case though, with some carcasses of aliens. And it's known as this. It's the 1947 Wright Field alien encounter. So let's go ahead and let's talk about all the information associated with this very unique, this very personal encounter. So what was this 1947 Wright Field alien encounter? Well, it has to do with this. Again, it was told by a son. I don't know exactly what his name is. He didn't leave, when I was reading the information, his name altogether, but still, this is his description. It has to do with a son stating what his knowledge was from his father, and this all came about, ironically, with a movie that they saw together. So in 1957, the son stated that his father took him to see a movie called Earth versus the Flying Saucers. And as they finished the movie and they were driving home, the son noticed that his father was unusually quiet. And then that's when suddenly the father stated something very unusual in of itself. He said they were too big. In other words, referring to the aliens in that film, that Earth versus the Flying Saucers. And then that's when it all just pretty much spilled out. That's when the father mentioned what happened 10 years earlier, back in 1947, in his own personal experience. So his father stated that he was stationed at a place called Wright Field there in Dayton, Ohio, and he was part of a filming unit there. He was, I guess, just a regular officer there who just happened to be within that department. And as he was doing his business, I guess just day-to-day stuff, that's when someone else came into his area and then told him, grab his 16mm movie cameras, follow him, they're going to some kind of hangar of some sort. So when they went there, the father, of course, was just doing his business. He had no idea exactly like what the nature of that they were about to film. He thought nothing of, in this case, anything involving aliens, let alone something like this. But when they went to the hangar, he noted that it was very heavily guarded, as opposed to, let's say, what a regular hangar would be. And as they went inside, that's when it surprised him. He saw what he described as this circular craft, probably the closest thing that you and I would associate with a UFO. There was also about an acre of debris within the hangar. You know how it's how a lot of times when there's investigations, the people that are doing these investigations take this debris and then place it throughout the ground in carefully choreographed spots, so that way they could try to reconstruct things. That's the impression that I got when he went in. But right in the middle of everything, taking up all the space and of course all the attention, was this circular craft, and it was heavily damaged. So this officer, this nameless officer, told the father to start filming footage, to do everything he could as far as gathering footage of what they saw. And so he did so, and then he was taken to another area towards the rear of the hangar, and that what was considered, I guess, by the cold temperature in that area, a refrigerated unit. And when they opened up the unit, that's when they saw these two things. Two small creatures, in this case, both of them dead, but clearly not of this world. In fact, here's how he described it. He described them as being small, grayish, very, very thin, large bulbous eyes, but absolutely no eyelids. Sounds familiar, right? It sounds pretty much just like any other gray that you and I have seen within any interpretation in the aliens UFO world. And they had these very severe wounds. One of them did, in fact, seem like almost as if they were or that this person or this thing was in a crash, and the other one had no injuries of any kind, but both were clearly deceased. And whenever he went in, he noted that the smell was very similar to dead fish. I don't know exactly if maybe it's because this refrigeration unit already had, let's say, other food within it. You would think that if something is being refrigerated, it's because it probably has food in it for the base, but maybe in other words there was already some fish in there. But if not, then this was definitely emanating from these dead creatures. And there he was, shocked as he was, to see all this. He was instructed to get footage, so he did. He used all his cameras, and then he was there shooting these things, whatever they were, these grays, all dead, of course, nothing that they could do that they were expecting these things to do otherwise. And then once that was finished, then to his surprise, his cameras were confiscated. They were not given back to him as normally it would be in his world, because normally he would take them to a lab for processing and then probably get to keep the cameras as usual. But no, in this case these cameras were taken by him, by this officer, and then he was instructed to secrecy. He was absolutely told and be sworn to secrecy, and that he could never share this to anyone else whatsoever, because of the very nature of what they filmed. And he followed those instructions pretty much for 10 years. It was only again whenever he took his son there in 1957 to see that film Earth versus the Flying Saucers, that's when all of this came back. And then that's when he said that very peculiar line, they were too big. And so now you see why he said that, because he literally saw two aliens in front of him, and they looked nothing in terms of the size of what was represented in the film, and probably nothing like what they look like at all within it. And so the father told the son this, and then he instructed him to never ever tell anyone. And then once the father ended up passing away, unknown what time or year it was, that's when the son related this story. He just wanted to share it with everyone out there. It came from a website called hbccufo.com, but when I tried to bring it up, there was nothing there. It looks like that website is long gone. But if anyone has any info as far as who these people were, names, as far as the father, maybe even the son, that'd be really good to hear. Otherwise, I was trying to find credit for it as well. But that's it. That's pretty much all the info associated with this very personal encounter. What do you guys think? I mean, this is about as close as you get in this case to close encounter with these aliens, in this case being deceased aliens, but still nonetheless. And you have film footage no less. So imagine if somewhere in this world this footage is there and it happens to go out and it leaks, what kind of footage this would look like. I mean, this would break everything open in terms of evidence, because there's one sense in terms of film footage that obviously looks fake, but this and the way I was reading it, I mean, he was filming it from all different angles, and it would have shown the hangar, it would have shown the large UFO, all the debris. If somebody was faking this, they would have taken a lot of resources to do so. So seeing something like this, it would be very, very hard to explain away. But yes, if anybody has any more info associated with this very unique case, this 1947 right field alien encounter, that'd be really, really great to hear. So, all right, everybody, thanks again as always. Take care. Bye.